Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Today's webinar will be about creating manga characters in Clip Studio Paint and will be presented by Toni Caballero. Before we begin the webinar, there are some housekeeping items that we'd like to go through. The webinar will be approximately 1 hour long. All attendees will be muted. There will be a Q&A session in the last 15 minutes. You can send your question using the question panel. We have a chat, but we only use it for information. So if you want to say comments, questions to Toni during the webinar, please use the question panel. Unfortunately, not all the questions will be answered, but we'll try to do our best. This webinar is being recorded, and the recording will be shared on social media and will be sent via email to all registrants and attendees. The panelists for this webinar are Maria Quiñones, myself, and Toni Caballero. For those of you who connect with us for the very first time or have never heard about Clip Studio Paint, Clip Studio Paint is your all-in-one solution for stunning, ready-to-publish illustrations, comics, manga, and animations. Learn more about Clip Studio at clipstudio.net/m and graphically.com. Also, we encourage you to share Instagram stories tagging #webinar at Toni Caballero Art, at Graphicsly, at Wacom, and at Clip Studio Official. We'll be sharing your stories. Toni Caballero is a Spanish illustrator and manga artist known for his distinctive style, characterized by pop colors and female characters with a rebellious attitude. His most notable work, Back Home, is a post-apocalyptic seinen manga licensed in Spain, Italy, and France, solidifying his reputation as a prominent figure in the European manga scene. Among his other projects in the graphic adaptation of Richard Matheson's classic novel I Am Legend, where he brings a fresh artistic perspective to the story. Currently, he's working on Midnight Serenade, his first project as both writer and illustrator, featuring characters that have gained popularity through his social media illustrations. He continues to balance the creation of original stories with his activity as an illustrator, engaging his audience through his unique and recognizable style. So without further ado, I will leave you with Toni and his presentation, Creating Manga Characters in Clip Studio Paint. Thank you so much.
Well, hello everyone. Thank you, Mario, for your introduction. Welcome to this webinar, Creating Manga Characters in Clip Studio Paint. First of all, I want to thank the Graphicsly team for organizing everything so well and for the patents with me. And to all of you, thank you so much for being here. I hope this little tutorial masterclass webinar about how I work will be useful for your own illustrations and, well, that you enjoy this time together. Well, and in this webinar, I'm going to show you the entire process of creating an illustration from gathering initial references to adding the final details, covering everything from the sketching to coloring and the background. We have about 40 minutes for this. Then we have some extra time to answer your questions. So, well, let's get started. Well, here are the references. I don't know if it shows well. If it's well. I usually get inspiration from things I see on social media, like, whoa, this photo looks amazing, or I love the colors of this illustration. Let's see how it works in my style. But when I'm out of ideas, I just browse Pinterest and create a sort of mood board in Clip Studio Paint file to help me see all those ideas. This file. Then I look for real life references for poses or even take selfies to better understand clothing folds and replicate them in my drawing if I'm looking for something more specific, but not this case because I just look for real life references. And well, for this webinar, I decided to draw my original character, Carol, from my manga Midnight Serenade. And these are the visual references and the character details I get rid to make sure I stay consistent with her design through the whole illustration. But well, with all this ready, let's move on to the sketch. Let me change this. Sorry. Here. Well, for this webinar, I pre-recorded this part as a video. Sorry for that. Sketching is the longest part for me, and I usually take like 30 minutes. So I thought it would be better to focus on later steps. So let me explain as we watch the video, okay? Let me play it. I start with a raw sketch using the G-Pen tool with a big brush size. This helped me to find the whole structure of the character, nothing too detailed here. I use the layer in blue, but it's just a habit. And once I have the basic idea in place, I switch to the pencil tool, like this pencil, for the second sketch to refine the design. As you can see, I wasn't quite happy with the face, so I made it again. And that's it. Well, once the sketch is ready, I start inking with the G-Pen tool. Let me change again to Clip Studio. Well, here's the sketch. I also imported a 3D object, this bass guitar, this Carol bass guitar. It's just a custom OBJ file that I have, since Clip Studio allows you importing 3D models. I use it my own, and it's super cool because if you know a bit of 3D editing, you can use your own model. And well, in the Clip Studio library, there's a lot of 3D models and files you can download it. So that's the better part, at least for me, that you can find for your own specific things to add to your drawings. As you can see, well, this is the 3D object that I can move. Sorry, that this is the object, and I can move it as any other 3D object. But well, let's use this. Now I add a white layer as a light box. Let me and I start the line art of the sketch. I do this out of habit because when I work on manga pages, I merge this layer with the line art to create some kind of sticker like characters that I can move around the page. So that's why, sorry, that's why I use that. Well, on a new layer, I'm gonna do the light one using the G-Pen tool. Real G-Pen, sorry, because I use Clip Studio in Spanish, is my mother tongue, but I'll try to use the English names for the tools, okay? Well, so in a new layer, let's get started with the line art. I usually start with the body and leave the face for the last part because it's the most fun part, and I prefer to keep it. Sorry if I'm a bit quiet while I'm drawing, but I'm still here. Don't worry. if you don't know her, it's the main character of my last or new manga that will be published on April this year in Planeta Manga magazine here in Spain. And well, she's the main character. I try to do it as quickly as I can to have enough time to do the rest, but I think it's the longest part of the whole process. Just a reminder, just a reminder, if you have any questions, you can write them in the question panel and I'll answer them later, or maybe as I work on the illustration if I can. So don't be shy and ask wherever you want. I like to use thick lines to add more dynamism, and sometimes use the line art itself as shadows for the drawing. So that's why I change a lot of in the line art of the character. And well, it's maybe, or I think it's a part of my graphic style, but it's more about saving time while I'm doing the line work, because I don't need to have an extra polished lines. I can do some dirty and not too finished line art. Well, by the way, I use a small game controller for shortcuts. Each button corresponds to a keyboard key. And well, Clip Sweep lets you customize shortcuts, so it's amazing, and you can modify the settings here. I think here in preferences. So it's super cool because if you like to use your keyboard, you can set all the shortcuts in the same place in the keyboard. So you can use, I don't know, the P, the L, the K, the J together, and don't move too much your hand around the keyboard. So it's super cool, unless you have a shortcut tool like a game controller or a Wacom Express key or something like that. It's amazing to change. uh, between tools. I prefer to use the color changing tool to change uh, between the color or the line and the erase. I mean, I don't use the erase tool. I just choose a color outside the illustration and use it as erase. Just to save time. Um, because of doing manga pages, I need to save a lot of time, and maybe I don't know if it's if you can see it in the video, but just to explain why I changed fast between the line and the erase. I'm gonna do the eyes. I think every one of you had your own way to do your faces or your character faces. So over the years, I developed my own style of doing this, and I like to do this kind of point or things in the eyes. And at that time, I like it, and I'll keep it during all these years. And this part to save time, and well, using the G pen in erase mode, I like to add some touches to give her some kind of highlight in the air. And well, let's take a look on her base, because I'm gonna use this. Let me duplicate the layer. I'm gonna use this tool that have Clip Studio. I think it's only in Clip Studio EX, but I really don't know. Let me know. And that way I can use it as a line if I change a bit all these parameters. And well, this way we can save some time to take a look on the color of, and the background. Okay, let's combine these two layers, and let me erase some parts that I don't need. And refine some other parts. Okay, let's do these white lines to make sure it turned out as it was. Mm, okay, and some extra details. Okay, I think this part is ready. Let me fix the outline. That part is just to give it some kind of organic feel. To make sure it doesn't look as just a 3D. I think that's it. Let me finish this. And let's do some shadows with the same lines. And I think it's done, maybe. Let me see her. Yeah, we can move to the next part to save some time. So, well, now it's time to color. So I'm gonna create a new folder. Let me hide this sketch part and combine all the lines. And well, with that part finished, I just make a new folder, select the background, sorry, with this. Maybe I need to close this part, sorry. Okay, I think now. Okay, so I'm gonna invert the selection, and in this new folder, I'm gonna do a layer mask to paint over the lines, and I'm gonna add some layers for the flat colors. Well, this is the color palette I usually use for my drawings, including Carol. It comes from my last published work, that it was I Am Legend, and has become a part of my graphic style. So, well, let's paint some with, sorry, let's paint some flat colors. In, well, maybe if I change this and multiply, it's better for keep ahead with the color. That part it's quite easy because we have the layer mask, and we can paint it without too much care about the rest of the colors. Now time for the base in another layer. Well, for some flat colors, I select the layer and add a gradient mask in another layer in a multiply mode just to add some extra um, color gradation as this. Another layer and maybe with this blue in multiply mode. Maybe a bit darker. And combine them and erase the things that I don't need. Okay, this color for the neck of the base. I like to say to do every color in different layers, but to save time and some kind of RAM or just layers for the layers that I'm sure that I'm not gonna change or do uh, any any other thing on them. I use them to paint more than one thing. Okay, let's move on to the face. The eyes. the highlight of that part in the eye, and well, the rest of the head. Let's do some um, details on her skin with these two colors. This color for some kind of shadows, but not actually a shadow, but a way to give to the skin some kind of realistic vibe, or just to add some other um, touches, not the final cell shading shadows. So I use this in multiply mode, and add that those shadows around some part of the drawing. Okay, now I use another layer in multiply mode with a light purple tone, to give it some kind of cell shading shadows, as I said. In layer, this is the purple that I use, and it's not actually cell shading. It's something similar, because I use the pen, the Maru pen, to do them, the shadows. Mm. Okay, this last part too. And then I apply a bit of Gaussian blur to soften all the shadows. Filter and blur and Gaussian blur. Just a bit. Something like this. And well, about this, I create a layer of highlights in color dots. Well, I don't know if it's in color dots because I have the software in Spanish, but no, it's not the color dots. It's just the tool below in light yellow or orange, just to add some kind of contrast to the shadows. I use the spray. Let me do an extra thing. In the eyes, I used to do some kind of a shadow or something like that, also in multiply, just to give her my personal touch in illustrations. And well, I think it's done. And when the coloring is finished, I make a few adjustments. But first, let's see how I do the backgrounds, and then we'll come back here. Let me show you this. So for the 99% of my backgrounds, I use photos as a base for working over them. For these illustrations, I'm gonna use this photo from a friend's rehearsal room. Let me put it in the background. Let me copy this and I think here, yeah. So here between the sketch part and the color, I'm gonna put the background and let me adjust it a bit. I think okay. So I'm gonna duplicate the layer and add some kind of sharper filter. Here's the parameters that I use usually. This photo isn't very high quality, but it works well for the purpose, and also for this drawing, it doesn't need to be perfect. So, well, this I'm gonna duplicate again this layer, and I'm gonna binarize them in two different levels of dark and lights, one lighter and one darker. Maybe a bit more. Too much. Yeah, like this. And this again. but darker. Like, yeah, maybe like this. Okay, so I add to the first layer, to the lighter layer, and layer mask, and erase some parts with this kind of, let me show it, this kind of cross hatching tools. This, and let me show you this. I think, let me, this two brushes to reveal the darker parts, and um, use all these parts to give to the background some kind of shadows, as I use with the line work for the character. Where it was, here, I think. Yeah, this part is just to give it some kind of organic feeling and make it similar to those manga panels, those traditional manga panels. I used to do this a lot of my manga pages. And when everything looks good, I merge all these layers and duplicate the original photo again. And with that tool that I use on the base, I'm gonna use it for some extra details that I lost in the previous part. It's a big photo, so it takes a bit of time, but not too much. Okay, and then multiply again, and we have some kind of structure for the rest of the backgrounds. And combine the the layers and put it again in multiply, just to add some kind of contrast. Okay, then I duplicate again this photo. Let me now, and I blur the photo again, just to give it uh, some extra um, mm, feeling of being actually an illustration, not just a photo. And over this layer, I'm gonna use a gradient map to change the colors to another that combines better with the character. Okay. Let me. I don't know why it doesn't work. Let me try again. Okay, now. So maybe this works well with the rest of the illustration. And we can adjust a bit more these lines and add some extra touches to make the background a bit more organic or a bit more realistic in this realistic like not just a photo, more just a drawing with some kind of yellow highlights. As I want to focus on the character, I don't gonna pay too much attention on this part because I'm gonna blur it all together, like the background. Okay, let's merge all these layers. And then let's blur it all together. Well, maybe for some of you, this part is a bit of cheating. I don't know. Let me know. But it's just the way to produce an illustration in less than 40 minutes, 50 minutes. So for most or for some of my illustration, I use this trick to have the time to produce an illustration for socials and also make like 1 page or 2 pages per day in my manga. I mean, so well. Let's see the final details. So as I said before, I'm gonna add some details to the character. First, I'm gonna duplicate the layer, the layer of the lines, and add some Gaussian blur to the lines, something like this. And combine the layers in multiply, of course. Let me erase a mistake here. Okay, no, this is, okay. It's from the background. Okay, so now I'm gonna add a layer to color some points of the line art to better smooth with the rest of the colors. I set the layer in color, I guess, or well, this, I don't know the name in English, but with this kind of mode that turns your line to the color you apply on the layer on the next layer. I use this to smooth better the lines with the colors. Also in the base, in the legs. Mm. And then above everything, I add some final touches like deeper shadows in the eyes and maybe some highlights on areas like the eyes or the nose. Let me show you. And for the eyes, I use the spray just in black. And maybe with this light color part of her face, I use that color to add some highlights in her face. Okay, maybe a bit more over here.
Tony, while you're doing the final touches, would you like us to start with some questions?
Okay, perfect.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for this amazing presentation. We are watching you doing all of your tricks and seeing your process is really hypnotizing. And
Thank you so much.
we have some love from the audience, like Aneta Aksenova. She's saying, looks great. Thank you so much. I love the background tricks. Ewon saying, background part is very cool. I've never seen anything similar before. Eric Dillon saying, she's also, I've been doing things the hard way for a long time, greetings from the Netherlands. So we also asked from which part of the world were people watching you. So we want to say thanks to Ivan from Chicago, Suzanne, Netherlands, Claudia, Germany, Panu, Finland, Abel, Mexico, Isabel, Ireland, who else? Anastasia from Hungary, Maria from Huelva, España, Luis, Mexico, Miami, Steven, France, Leah. Thank all of you who join us live and are enjoying this webinar as much as we are. Italy, Aurora. So thank you, all of you. So let's start with some questions. There's a lot of questions, Tony. Unfortunately, our time is limited, so we'll try to summarize the most popular ones. And immediately, the first one are related to the brushes. Where did you get the brushes? Did you make them? Can you tell us a little bit?
So for the most part in my workflow, I use the preset ones that came with Clip Studio, and I think I also use some others that I downloaded from Clip Studio assets from the Clip Studio library, which are the cross hatching brushes, like these two that I showed before, and some more, but more about my needs. Like I need to do a panel with a lot of blood or something like that, so I look for some specific brushes. But usually I use the 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 brushes that include Clip Studio Paint. So there's no any mystery with my brushes.
Mm-hmm. Another popular question is about 3D objects. Is it something you have using for a long time? How can you import a 3D object? Or if you just use the asset store?
I use both. Like in the asset store, there are a lot of great 3D objects, but for this manga, I ordered some 3D brushes for Blender and other softwares that I need to use in my manga pages, but a lot of times. So I order them to a friend that knows more than me about 3D, and I just imported like here. Let me show you. Um, Here, like import and just 3D file, I guess in English. So there's no too much. Then you can use them as your regular 3D objects in the software in the program.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are asking about your career as a manga artist. Where did you start? Who are your references?
So as you might notice, if you read my previous works in manga, I like a lot the style and the stories of Okuhiroya from Gantz. That's why I use a lot of 3D, because I started reading manga with Gantz. And in terms of illustration, I like a lot the work of Ilya Kusinov and also Argem. There's another reference for to me, and well, a mix of everything between these those anime style vibes, and also I mix all these references with my own personal story with some underground culture in my city, and then I mix them to make the drawings, and also in this case that story about a punk rock band.
And there's a lot of questions regarding details. When do you feel it's time to say, okay, this is done?
Yeah.
What's your process about it?
Well, that's a good question. um, I don't know. There's always small things that you can do better, but this is more or less my whole process of an illustration. So maybe I take more time for the line art, or maybe in this case for the last details, I just to change the size. Like maybe this is the size you're gonna see the illustration in your phone or in your tablet or wherever. So if in this size looks great, for me it's perfect. At least to share it on socials. If I need to finish a page for manga, I need to see them, like to compare it uh, in my screen, in the computer screen, with a real manga page to other works. And if it looks great in that size, for me it's fine, it's finished.
Mm-hmm. And well, unfortunately, our time is limited. Thank you so much for all your questions. Um, but let's end this with a really popular one. If you could share any suggestion, tips, wisdom words about entering into manga style. That was a really interesting question. I can remember her
Yeah.
name, but she said, if you will start all over again, what will be the best advice you will give to yourself when starting into manga?
Oh, good question. Maybe it will be like, um if you have to do a project in a long period of time, you had to do the project that you loved, because there is a lot of time in the blank page, and you sometimes you're alone with yourself. And if you need and you want to make a project during all that time, you need to be happy with yourself, with your art, and with the things that you create. So for me, the best tip that I can give, not just the art, so just about the whole thing that involves art and manga and illustration, is just be happy with the things that you're creating and enjoy it. Don't It doesn't need to you doesn't need to have pain drawing and making art. It's just to make you happy and share your inner world with people. So I think this is the best tip that I can give to the people and to all the audience.
Well, thank you so much, Tony, for these wise words and also for sharing your creative process. It's been amazing, really insightful. Everybody loved it. The comments are all amazing. So thank you so much, Tony.
Thank you, and thanks so much for attending, for everything else, for attending this webinar. It's having a pleasure. Thanks again to you and to the lovely team at Graphically for this invitation. And
Thank you.
yeah, and this has been super cool, and nothing much to say.
Thank you so much, Tony. Thank all of you who join us live and the ones that are watching the replay on YouTube. Many of you asked, yes, this webinar has been recorded and it's going to be uploaded to our YouTube channel, Graphically, and Cliff to the Paint channel. So Remember to subscribe to receive a notification once the video is available. If you want to learn more about Clip Studio Paint, tutorial tricks, and information about the software, visit clipstudio.net/n and graphicslady.com. And for more information about Toni, his projects, get Toni's manga. Don't forget to follow him on his social, Toni Caballero Art, Twitter or X, Toni Cab Art, and his website, tonicaballeroart.com. So with that, thank you so much, Toni, for this amazing webinar.
Thank you so much.
Thank all of you who joined us, and please stay tuned for more webinars and events about Clip Studio Paint tutorials, etc. Follow us at Graphically, all social media. So we hope to see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.